Ignite the drive in your soul. It's calling you.
Welcome everyone to the next episode of Talk to Me About, the Guilty Gear podcast where we talk about your faves and why you love them. I'm your host, Dee. Hi, love. I'm here with my co-host, Jay. Hi, Jay.
Hello, love.
How are you doing today, love?
Oh, I'm lovelicious.
The reason why I talk about love today is because we are talking about the one and only loving character, Elphelt Valentine. Wedding dresses galore and wedding cakes. And I've got 4 Elphelt lovers today who both love her in gameplay, art, music, anything. And first up, we have a returning guest, Borch. Hi, Borch.
Hello. I do art. I love to draw Elphelt. I don't play Elphelt very often in Xrd, but I play against her every now and then.
Mm-hmm.
I love her as a character. I think she's so much fun. I see myself in her a little bit. I love loving as well.
Aww. Oh. Next up, we have the owner of the bi-hourly Elphelt account, a true Elphelt lover to the max, Mari. Hi, Mari.
Hi, I'm Mari. I did start the Elphelt Hourly account. I've been co-running it with Mr. Elphelt's been a part of my life for 4 or 5 years now. I have a whole shrine of her, a bunch of stuff of her. I love her a lot.
Mari, I'm just imagining you, and it's like a picture of you at like an Elphelt concert, and you got like t-shirts, and you got the light sticks and stuff, and it's just like, your music saved me!
But, yeah, thank you for having me here.
Next up, we have Vera. Hi, Vera.
Hello, that's me. I play a lot of Guilty Gear. It's probably my favorite game of all time, and Elphelt is probably my favorite character of all time, too. I love her lots in Xrd. That's actually, when I got into Xrd... Actually, when I first started getting into Guilty Gear, a friend of mine told me about Elphelt, and I was like, oh my god, this character's amazing. I love her. And then when I got Xrd, I was like, damn, this character's amazing. And I was so excited for her in Strive. I don't play her in Strive, unfortunately. Her gameplay doesn't mesh as well with me as it did in Xrd, but that doesn't take away from how much I adore the character.
I'm really glad to have you on because, God, I at least have someone that really, really knows the gameplay aspect, and you are a really, really accomplished player, too. I'm very glad to have you on.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
And last but not least, Mr. Elphelt himself. The one, the only, Pike. Hi, Pike!
Hey, what's up? I draw Elphelt sometimes. I talk about Elphelt sometimes.
Only
and I do
sometimes,
things with
you know.
Elphelt sometimes. Yeah.
So deep into Elphelt that you even got like the scoop of when she was coming out. You are like so deep in there. I respect your commitment so hard.
Oh man, I was down in the trenches that time. That was crazy. Even like the year before, I was like, doing a little bit of like, trickster activity myself, making that fake Elphelt Strive render.
That one was cool. That was cool.
Confusing everyone on the dark webs, trying to get all of us, ruin our hopes and dreams.
Oh, well, that's just how it is.
So, I heard for Vera already, but I'd like to ask the rest of you. How did you get into such a lovely woman, girl, awesome lady, Valentine?
Me in particular, I actually first got into her by doing like a birthday art for a friend who is also like really into Elphelt, and then from there I just like started drawing her more and more. I fell in love with her like Revelator design and her as a character, like after watching cutscenes from the Xrd story, both Sign and Revelator.
It helps that she's a major character, it's not like you're jumping in and it's like, oh, here's Leo Whitefang who gets maybe like 1 or 2 scenes. No, Elphelt is like a major proponent of like both stories, so...
Yeah, I just wish it's the same in Strive,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, that's why another story will come out where she will be the central focus.
Plus.
I think Jacko and Soul are the next focus for that one.
Probably.
Well, I
That's what they
remember...
Is there like anything confirmed?
I
they
remember
said the
hearing
background.
on the grapevine that they said every new DLC will take part in the new story, so I think Elphelt will be a part of it.
Oh, for sure.
Yes! Alright.
Hey, because I know they said the next story they would focus on the end of Soul and Jacko's arc. Them going forward, and it would make sense to have Elphelt in that too, considering she's a big part of their story as she is, Like,
Well, it makes sense if they're getting married that they gotta have someone, you know, writing the vows and shit.
true.
Yeah, take her to the fucking moon too.
It was so interesting with Elfelt's Strive incarnation that, like, before she got in, everyone was like, oh my fucking god, Miss Top 1 is gonna come back from Xrd. I don't put her back in. This is gonna suck. It's gonna ruin the game. We had Happy
my
Chaos.
God.
And then as soon as the Game Awards shit happened, I saw, like, nothing but love. Like, I think she had such a huge warm reception all around.
Yeah.
It was really wonderful. I remember when the Game Awards were happening, I was watching with Jay, and I was, like, screaming my ass off because she became, like, a death metal singer, and I was like, no fucking way! There she is!
But yeah, no, you bring up a really salient point, the like spectrum of reactions that came about when Elphelt was revealed, where it was like so fun to wade through all of those because yeah, you had the people, the Xrd veterans who were like, oh my god, no, please don't destroy this other game too. And then like the people, what most interested me, the people who like had no prior interest in Guilty Gear at all, just seeing this fun character and being like, oh, I'm locked the fuck in now. I think that's incredible. The fact that like just one character, I think, was it with her release window, or was it with another character's release window that like saw like one of the biggest upticks in players that we've seen in a while?
The three biggest upticks, I think it's actually now 4. The 3 biggest upticks that we've ever had to Strive was Jacko, because she took the internet by storm as, you know, the Jacko pose. Bridget, who also took the internet by storm, because she's a cute trans icon. And then Elphelt as well, and now ABBA. Elphelt as well, because she was, ABBA, there's been about I think I checked the Steam charts on the day she came out, and there was about 12,000 people online on Steam, and that's Steam alone, which means about on PC, and this Xbox and PlayStation, which would also be about, have another probably similar numbers, and the Celestial lobbies were about Celestial number 9, which is normally at 4 max, so you can tell a lot of people are on, and the parks were full. It was great. I was happy. Yeah. I think it's still hanging strong. And I think for about Elphelt, it was about 9,000 because so many people were watching the Game Awards, and a lot of people said that ArcSys wouldn't put out the money for the Game Awards, but they really did.
I was one of them. Like,
yeah.
It can't be understated how much Elfelt's release and Strive did for the game too, because I remember it being very negative around the time where it felt like nothing was happening after Johnny. Wild Assault was taking over, still kind of is taking over a lot, but I remember just community perception in general being very low, and then like as soon as Elphelt came out, I just remember just like this like wave of like relief, happiness, and like the fact that she had so many in-depth taunts and her intro, and the fact that she got a unique singer as well. It's clear that Daisuke has a lot of favoritism for her, and I think it shows in how much people really love her as well.
Yeah, I think with a character whose themes are so inexorably tied to like the core of Guilty Gear being like humanity and love, it's impossible for Daisuke to not put an extra little bit of sauce on Elphelt whenever she appears. And again, I'm definitely over the moon, maybe pun intended for the rabbit stuff with Elphelt, but that they did wind up going the mile and putting her in the Game Awards, because I think that was like such a fun moment to watch live, because
it was hype.
Yeah, like everybody said already, just the fact that no one thought she was actually going to be there was, I think, what made that like such a special moment, because it's like, oh my god, they really went and did it. This was a stage, formerly reserved only for Joker Persona 5 Smash Brothers, but now we have our girl
Elphelt
up
Smash
in front of a million
Brothers,
people who are waiting for, I don't know, like an update for No Man's Sky or something.
True.
But
Pike, despite having like advance notice, was it still like a happy moment for you?
Oh, definitely. I wasn't totally sure what direction they took with the character. A lot of it was still a big surprise for me, and I guess especially seeing like her gameplay be adapted into Strive.
Yeah,
that's interesting for me.
I think it was incredible too that we all had the design at the time, right? And we were, and you know, obviously there's a bunch of fan art and everything and speculation. Not a single person was like, "Oh, she's clearly going to be like a death metal singer," and like handing out like concert flyers and marriage certificates and everything. Now, like we were all thinking, "Oh, she's going to be an idol." I'm sorry, I'm getting slayered to fuck right now.
What's crazy about Elphelt is with the leaks. Elphelt leaked back in October, and a lot of people don't know this too. I got told about the leaks back like Halloween, the day before Halloween,
Funny thing
and-
is, I was as well. I was also aware
Yeah.
of the leaks for a very,
Really?
very long
Yeah,
time from
yeah.
a friend of a friend.
Yeah, and the thing
Oh.
about the craziest thing is, like, a lot of people kind of knew about it, but the design, they kept the design secret. I didn't know the design until like the weekend, the day the leak dropped. Like, because everyone was keeping it so hush hush and like top secret. They mentioned gameplay. Like, I saw gameplay. I'll tell you about the design, but I can't show you. I gotta keep that hush hush. And then leaks on 4K. I'm like, oh,
Mhm.
damn. But that's kind of cool.
Hey, did random Arxis guy get fired, or?
We don't know, but
Probably.
I got no clue. But from what I understand, probably, considering it's the source of the leak, my friend said they keep me posted about other leaks going forward.
Aw, rest in
I
peace.
have not been told.
Oh no.
So, with all the leak and Elphelt Strive incarnation stuff out of the way, I just wanted to bring that up because I thought it was a very interesting community event that feels like we were all around for, and anyone watching this video was probably around for as well, so I just figured it'd be fun to talk about. But outside of that, I really wanted to talk about, like, hey, why are we even playing Xrd to begin with? And obviously it's because Elphelt fucking broken as hell in this game, a staple of the competitive scene. You got Lost Soul playing her normally, you got Hotashi playing her like a madman. I think he even said it himself, where it's like, hey, if you want to learn how to play Elphelt, do not watch me, go watch Lost Soul.
I don't think Lost Soul is as active anymore,
I
but
know.
there is Bevian who's been super active recently.
Yeah.
It's good that we still have up and comers for the Xrd scene, especially now with rollback too. I think that's great. Hopefully, every Guilty Gear can coexist peacefully.
I know when I think about Elphelt's gameplay in Xrd, the first thing I think of outside of all the cool tools that she has is the fact that she's the character responsible for Maximilian quitting Xrd by killing Guilty Gear
That's
by getting
crazy.
9K. But I wanted to ask you guys, do you have any like fun gameplay moments you've had with Elphelt in Xrd if you do main her or anything like that?
I love Elphelt Xrd. I love hitting people with 6H and then doing a Pineberry run up 5K pickup into a full combo, and then then they just start panicking or fighting. Or when I first started picking up the game, I had a couple friends who would I had a friend who would play Slayer, right? And he despised 5H. Holy hell, he despised 5H. A couple of my friends played
Yeah, that
Xrd,
eats up Danny steps so badly, along with
it feels
a
like it's
5K.
instant.
It should eat up Dandy's step. Slayer deserves to get hit by 5H. If we deserve to die off of one pile bunker, I think he deserves to die off of one 5H.
So yeah, that's a good question. Do you think Elphelt actually is as broken as people say she is, or are you gonna underplay her?
Absolutely, she's as broken.
No, you gotta be like, no, it's all my own skill.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. I'm just gapping with my, my unblockable shots. Sorry,
Yeah.
guys.
They should have just thought about that.
The other thing I think of when I think of Elphelt and Xrd and her gameplay is the fact that they had to, that shotgun stance is so fucking broken that they had to make Google Docs telling people how to beat it, and it's like a 30-page doc.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you know your
that's
character is
crazy.
something special when it has different documentation like that. Like there's like the panic button. I'll give them the link for the matchup. You need like the Yu-Gi-Oh combo sheet just to survive.
Just IB the shots, guys. It's not that hard.
So outside of her gameplay in Xrd as well, do you guys feel that it was translated well into Strive? Obviously she lost a lot of her tools and became a Rekka sort of character, but how do you guys feel about it? She's in a weird spot at the moment, I know.
I personally don't. I'm not a big fan of how her gameplay was translated. Because she was more of a set play, all rounder kind of character in Xrd, and now they kind of heavily lean towards the set play aspect. But at the same time, it's super interactable.
I think the problem is that they didn't want to involve Pineberry at all, and then from there they're just like, okay, well, why don't we keep her... I think they even said in a dev diary, they're like, okay, well, why don't we make it so we focus on her different reactions to Oki and things like that, and that's how it turned into Rekka, where you choose different things, and it's you have to have a mental toll to play against Elphelt, or at least that's how I feel when I play Nino against her.
Yeah, I'm pretty disappointed. Well, also that matchup's winning for Elphelt. I've been saying that since day one of Elphelt. The thing about Elphelt that I'm disappointed with in her Strive translation is the fact that was they didn't really transfer over Shotgun. I was really hoping Shotgun stance would come back. Of all the things to come back, it is Shotgun stance I was looking forward to the most. And that was the one thing they didn't bring back. They brought back Azureka, and it's like, damn.
Maybe it's because I don't know either. It also feels like her command grab super isn't that good in Strive. Like, I just don't know how you're ever supposed to use it.
You're only ever supposed to use it comboed off of Blue Wild Assault, and then it's a mix-up tool, and it's not really good.
Yeah.
I wonder if everything I'm saying right now is going to be negated within a couple weeks, though, and her tools are going to get way better, and it won't just be like, hey, her best thing is that she has good offensive second, and that's it. But...
But yeah, I think it's a
Fucking do it again.
Oh, yeah.
demonstrative of like the shift in design mentality when it comes from the changeover from Xrd to Strive, and that's just like the shift away almost entirely from set play for almost every character that had it previously. Like they want to incentivize kind of, I shouldn't say like a simpler, but just sort of a different spread of gameplay styles. And in the regard of like Elphelt being a character that just kind of traps you in the corner and puts you in the blender forever, I feel like in making her like a heavy rushdown Rekka character, part of that is preserved at the very least. But again, I'm like a hyper casual speaking from the perspective of someone whose only experience with Xrd Elphelt up to this point has just been like, you know, goofing off in friendlies. But at the very least, I think nominally there was an attempt to maintain like how you feel playing Elphelt, and I wonder if, because both metas are still kind of evolving, and you know, I'm really hoping that people go back and give Xrd another look now, especially because of this, that we will see, I don't know, some balanced decisions that help bring the Xrd flavor of Elphelt more into Strive, if that's even possible. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think I hate really what they did with the very little frame of reference I do have.
Next, I feel like it would also be really cool to talk about like her themes, and I talked about it already, like with the Game Awards and how Extras came out and how they got a special new vocalist just for her of a female like death metal singer, and she's really, really, really good. I really love Molly Scorpion, and I really kind of like her music too. Extremely heavy, but I also really love Marionette. Like, easy contender for best Extra theme. Like no contest for me.
Yeah.
How do you guys feel about Marionette and Extras?
I fell in love with that theme like immediately. It's a little embarrassing to admit, but like when I was at the peak of my brain rot, that song made me like tear up a little sometimes.
I feel like
cry from everything, so I completely get it. For me, it's like I cry for, this could sound really stupid, but like the fact that a girl could even sound like that in a song, like the fact that she could go from like these death growls just to like really soft and like sorrowful sound, like it really made me cry. I get it completely.
Or like her range is just it's so impressive how she can hit all those high notes, especially like the belts that she does at the end of the song, and then also do all those death metal growls. I know that she's a voice actor too for that type of stuff. It's just oh my god.
It's interesting too, because for the voice acting stuff, she does creature design. Like, she's like a bunch of enemies in DMC and God of War. So fucking cool how that translates into music and stuff. I never really considered singers being able to do that kind of stuff, but I guess voice acting is just kind of singing in a way. You're just training your voice for something.
I could definitely see like the overlap. It's just her range. It's so impressive.
I really thought it was just two people singing that song.
Yeah, no, I think Dee and I were the same way. We were like, oh, who is this other vocalist? But yeah, no, it's all Molly, baby.
Okay.
Something I really like too with Elfelt's song is that it's the only Strive character where she's singing her own song. Like, that's so cool.
Yeah, but it's sort of diegetic.
It comes across in the lyrics as well because it feels way more casual or like natural for someone to sing them. It makes sense to me, I guess, that Elfelt's singing it too, and that she's pouring her whole heart into it. Fuck, I am getting slayered to hell and back!
Yeah, I think like with the changes of her design, it was one of those things that no one really thought of, but like in hindsight was so organic and just makes so much sense for her character now that I like can't help but absolutely adore it in every way. So yeah, I just, like everybody else, absolutely love extras, and I really do like that with Molly getting in the death metal growls, and then also like the kind of cheerier, pining, sweet, girly vocals, that we also address sort of the breadth of Elfelt's character and themes, just kind of lightly touching on that before I imagine we get into it more further on in the podcast. But I really appreciate that we're keeping up that notion that Elphelt has both these really kind of dark, tragic aspects of her, and then also is still like a fun girl. Like those things don't have to be mutually exclusive. And I just think that that's really sick. Like that everything is encompassed under the idea of femininity or Elphelt. Like you can still be expressive and pained and sorrowful and cute and fun.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. It's like, I don't know if it's like totally like a widespread thing, but I don't think that's something that's like widely like acknowledged about Elphelt.
Yeah.
Like people tend to only just look at her like cutesy, adorable side without like acknowledging like what she did to get to this point.
Oh, it pisses me off so much when people say like, "Oh, Elphelt is just an anime waifu," because that is just not what she is
exactly,
at
but
all.
not
Yeah.
No, it's my least favorite thing when I see people just say like stuff like, "Oh, she's just or she's waifu bait," and she's just like the popular girl character for the game, because like she is a very interesting character and she has a lot going on. You just see people sort of write it off just because she is cute and fun and feminine as well.
Yeah.
What gets
Just,
me about
it
it
makes
as
me a
well
little
is that
sad.
like a lot of what she does is both like a costume and something that she puts on, and it's an act that she does, but it's also something that she both embodies as well. Like the way she uses both her femininity and like her sexuality is something I find really cool about her. Like, she's not just sexy to be sexy, and I feel like each of her designs shows that sexiness in a different way to tell something about her character. I feel like I could go on a whole thing about it, but...
Yeah.
Am I allowed to, or...?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, by all
Go ahead.
means.
So for Xrd Sign, she's very much like in a prim and proper wedding dress kind of deal, and it's kind of like she has very heterosexual, like, hey, this is, if you want to imagine like what an ideal wife would be, the Elphelt is that. She tries to perceive herself as that, and she has the entire wedding dress on, but she also doesn't understand, like, hey, wedding is like a thing where it's like sanctity and things like that, so she has like the boob window too, and also she's, I know it sounds very weird, but I feel like they're intentional like design elements, the fact that she has really, really, really big boobs and she tries to show it all the time. And the fact too that she has the whole bunny motif and how that kind of plays into like, Playboy bunny stuff. It's very much like the Elphelt wants you to fall in love with her, and that kind of ties back into her insecurity about how she doesn't really identify herself outside of how other people need her. Like, she's constantly going around handing marriage certificates to people saying, hey, can you please love me? Hey, oh, wouldn't it be cute if we had this life together? Oh, wouldn't it be nice if we lived together and we had babies and everything like this? But she's also like Guns N' Roses, and she can't accept anyone getting that close to her. She always whips out the gun and runs away, or shoots, and it's deadly. And part of that is because she's the sleeper agent, but part of it I think is also just like, she doesn't know how to love herself enough to be in a relationship yet. And it's kind of shown in like in Revelator when Ariel starts getting her, and Ariel dresses her up, and she's just completely nihilistic at that point. And she has the giant collar around her, kind of showing that, like, hey, she's more of a prisoner now. And the once, like, boob window that she dressed herself in, that said, like, hey, I want you to see me like this, Ariel's now dresses her where it's, like, that's kind of ripped off. And she's got, like, the very much goth and punk aesthetics going on as well. Kind of like it's not exactly what she's choosing to wear in that situation, and she kind of doesn't like how she's living this life of, like, creating an identity of herself for other people to see her like that. And then that all rounds out in like Strive, where now she's actually dressing for what she truly wants, where it's like, hey, I'm going to love not other people all the time, but myself first and foremost. I'm gonna hand people flyers to come see my show where I am. And, she's wearing like a nice simple jean jacket along with her nice dress, and she still carries the rose motif because she is still deeply in love with people, but it's more not that she needs it more than she's like focusing on herself. Or at least that's how I interpret her many designs. I don't know how you guys do.
Mm-hmm.
I totally agree. Mm-hmm. Really, yeah.
As an artist, like, which design do you like drawing the most?
Okay, so it's Okay, so I like the designs, but I often don't like drawing them. And that's the case for Revelator Elphelt in particular. Yeah, because there's so much going on, but it just like, it seems so cohesive. It doesn't mean that I don't like drawing it. Like, especially like the little accessories hanging off her belt, it's like so geometric and kind of a pain to do. I don't know about anyone else.
Oh my god, I feel the same way with Eno's belt. I hate drawing Eno's belt because just I'll be getting like the cool jacket, I'll get the nice lines on there, and I'm like, I am so feeling this, and then I get to the belt and it's like, oh, I have to draw 10 million tiny little stunts.
It's why like a lot of my... I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, I appreciate those little accessories, like, they're the clover motif, like, I think they look very nice, especially in motion too, but when I have to draw them, it is just a little bit like, this part.
I feel like this is a design that can only really exist within 3D space, which is why they add so many details onto it.
Yeah.
Because, like, oh yeah, you don't have to draw it every single frame. Unlucky for us.
I think thematically too, like obviously her general design and adornments from Xrd, both in Sign and Revelator, are meant to be evocative of like a bride either tortured or completely lovey-dovey. But I think like just the number of accessories she has is sort of meant to be demonstrative of the fact that she's trying to sort of pull people's focus away from her sort of deeper intricacies as a character. Like she wants them to kind of fall for that facade that she's putting out there of just the like perfect, sweet, cute, blushing bride, and just like get distracted by all the bits and baubles that she has. Because, you know, if she looked a little bit more plain, that might invite someone to think of her more as a person, which is something that she's struggling and kind of failing to do as she exists in Xrd. And something that I was hoping to mention kind of when we were talking about earlier, but people's reactions from the internet at large when they were like flanderizing Elphelt back when she came out in Stride, because it was everyone's, well, not everyone's, but a lot of people's that were, you know, Guilty Gear yokels, first impression of her. It really makes me think of that one Twitter meme where it's like, oh, you know, the person who thinks they perfectly understand the character from the piece of media, not realizing they're like falling for the character's exact facade, like you're thinking what they want you to think. But yeah, like,
oh, you
know,
think she's
obviously,
an anime wife? Yeah, that's what she wants you to think also.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you know, she wants to be seen as this loving, perfect wife, but, you know, really, it's also like, it reminds me of that one Aerith meme where it's like, she harbors a deep, indescribable sadness. And I feel like I've mentioned that on so many podcast episodes recently, but I think absolutely with Elphelt it bears repeating, because, you know, her view of love and the notion of marriage from Xrd really speaks to her desperation for external approval, because she's unable to find that for herself. Like, that's something Ariel's has denied her. She has all these other emotions, but she can't really perfectly conceive of love despite thinking so much about it, right? And having it shoved into her face and trying to shove it into her own face so much. But, like, you know, she thinks about the kind of person she would be, in her wind quotes, if she were to marry someone. Like, that's what gives her direction in life, right? Not that she has one that she's going to work on with someone, but in Xrd it's like, oh, if I were to marry you, Leo, you know, I'd like to be like this, or if I were to marry you, Soul, like, again, her personality is being informed by the world around her. Like, she's refusing to take responsibility to make herself into a person. Something I noticed when I was doing my little Elphelt recourse for this video was that I noticed that, like, in Xrd Sign and Revelator, whenever she's proposing to someone, it's always about how she's gonna, like, change herself for her husband. Yes.
And then when it comes to Strive, it's like, oh yeah, here's how I'm gonna play for you, and also you're just a part of my fantasy here. Not that, like, I don't know, I feel like both are very empowering for her in a way. Like, I feel like no matter what version of Elphelt it is, I still look at her and I'm like, God, she's so cool and I want to be her, you know?
Yeah, I think there's something to be said of the fact that, like, it's very clear in Xrd that it is her fantasy at the end of the day. It's just, like, it seems still a little bit maladaptive that it's not about her doing something she wants to do independently that the other person can be a part of. That it always has to be that she's like, oh, I'll do this for you. But yeah, no, I think to your point, her relationship to love and strive is a little bit more healthy, at least in my own personal regard, because I think it speaks to a bit of what Strive and later in Xrd they try to talk about, of like a healthy degree of selfishness, right? Where it's like, to a point, everyone is like that. Like, you shouldn't deny your own existence and your needs and wants. Like, it's okay to be forward about your desires. And I think Strive Elphelt is all about that, right? She's like, oh, you should come be my fan. Come do this with me rather than I'll do this for you, which I think is really cute and cool.
Mari, I wanted to ask you, I noticed on the account the other day that you posted that, like, Elfelt's Revelator design, like, has a bunch of words and stuff on it, and I, like, never noticed that. I thought that was so cool, and I wanted to know, like, hey, what your favorite, like, Elphelt design was as well.
For Elfelt's outfits, my favorite one is probably her sign outfit. I do appreciate all the pink colors, all the roses and everything. It's really pretty. She looks much more inviting compared to her Revelator outfit for, lore reasons. But I'm a huge fan of her sign outfit, just how inviting and friendly it seems.
I think it helps too, where it's like, Xrd Sign is how she dressed herself, and then, like, Revelator is someone else dressing her, and then I think Girls Frontline, she decided to go really hard on that aesthetic as well. Like, I haven't talked about it, but her Girls Frontline design is so fucking crazy cool.
I wish they had that in Strive.
Yeah, I was totally
that design is crazy.
like that.
Personally, I'm not a big fan of that one.
Oh, do you think?
Aww.
Do tell.
It's just like, basically what Marie like thinks about the Revelator design, but kind of like really exaggerated. Like, there's not only is there like a lack of color, but there's also a lack of contrast in like her design too. It's less of like a thematic thing, but more like just like a design choice. It's so hard to tell what is what, and there's also just so many things going on at the same time too.
While we're on the subject of design, actually, I think it's kind of interesting to think about, like, sort of the thematics of her design evolution from Sign to Rev to Strive, and particularly just the kind of, like, design narrative that it sets up, at least in my view, because we've spoken about which ones are our favorites and for what purposes and what that might say about her as a character. But something fun that I was just thinking about is I feel like the Strive design for Elphelt, I don't think by any means is sort of like the ultimate design for her, right? I feel like it's totally fine to say that, like, oh, I much prefer her Rev or her Sign incarnation. But I think I really am impressed by the way they married the design motifs for her Strive design from Sign and Rev. Like, you have a little bit of that harder, edgier metal influence from the Rev design, with like the spiked collars and like more skin being shown. But then you also have the kind of more traditionally feminine pinks. You have like obviously like the frills on the tutu, and a little bit of the clover still maintained from her Sign design that I think is just like really cool. So I was just wondering if any of you had any thoughts with regards to that, or even just like the transition of her design from Sign to Rev or from Rev to Strive.
I'm a little conflicted about her Strive design because I think they did a really good job in incorporating elements from her past designs in really subtle ways, like adapting them. Like, I like the little collar. She still has her crown, even though her bunny ears are gone. And I think her tutu sort of like resembles the flowers and the roses.
Yeah,
And then
I remember seeing
my
someone
favorite
say
detail.
that the ruffles specifically look like rose petals and stuff, and I can see that. It is cool, but it is way more subtle than it is on her other designs.
Yeah, it's very subtle, but I think it's a really interesting choice. My favorite like aspect of it is how they changed her shoes, how she has that pointed toe. Like her really big boots with the pointed toe in her Revelator designs. They sort of kept that, but they... Yeah, no, I love that. And then they kept it in a way where if you silhouette it, it looks like she still has those pointed toes, but they're actually like spikes now. It's an interesting adaptation where it maintains the idea of it, but it's different and they adapt it to fit her more current style.
I think I just realized it clicked for me why Elfelt's shoes are designed like this in Sign and Revelator, and I think it's that she wants it to look like high heels, but they are also combat boots, and it's like a marriage of those two ideas, because she is both, hey, like my pretty princess, I'm trying to look as cute as possible, but also, I'm gonna beat the shit out of you.
Even though that I think there's a lot of cool things about the Strive design, I feel like it's still just missing something. There's just not quite enough in it.
I feel
Yeah.
that.
If you guys get what I mean.
There's,
Yeah, no,
You could set
I
up
want
a
to
lot
pull
of
up an
stripe
image of the
designs,
stripe
really.
design real quick, but I'm
Yeah.
in a match, so I can't.
Here, you can get it after this one, and I can jump in.
Exactly.
Yeah,
there's just,
it's
like
just-
something
Mhm.
isn't right about the stripe design for me, and it doesn't feel the same. I'm glad they went with
Or-
white hair though. The white hair is cute.
I was surprised. I was thinking they'd go with a new color or something, or maybe like even a red, like Jacko. But I guess they do want to keep that for Jacko.
I think
Be
the
interesting.
hair color is a little bit more pink. It's sort of like an in-between her sign and Rev designs.
Yeah.
Something I do like a lot about her strive design, though, is that they weren't afraid to give her really strong expressions. Like, I think about Elphelt's windscreen when she goes for her death growl and she goes like, ah! And you can see, like, the
Yeah.
wrinkles and lines on her face as it contorts, as she, like, puts her entire soul into singing that note. So happy that, like, he allowed, like, a girl character to have that kind of face. Like, I can imagine something like that on Soul. Soul has a lot of those faces. And I'm just really happy that Elphelt has that as well.
I mean, to be fair, Soul is a beautiful butch lesbian after all.
He is a beautiful
Yeah.
butch lesbian.
I guess then just kind of speaking about her Rev design in isolation then, back when that was the newest piece of, Elphelt design work that we had. Quite obviously, I think they did a really good job sort of communicating Elphelt's despair at being used by aerials and sort of bringing to the front that deep indescribable sadness that was sort of pervasive of her character and sign that wasn't really broached on until we hit Rev.
The Elphelt stripe design. Yeah, the thing about, like, I don't know, I don't like the tutu that she has in Stripe.
I think it's weird, but I kind of like it.
I think it's the, I wish she kind of had more, like, darker colors in her clothing, too, to contrast the white a bit better.
Yeah.
I think
So
with
it's
that
very
respect, too,
bright.
I think they chose specifically to keep it as light as possible. Like, I even think they added gold aspects onto Elphelt. Not that she doesn't have it on her belt. I mean, like, her band logo is gold and black. And they added these whiter aspects to Elphelt on her strive design because they want to show the contrast for when she goes into her windscreen and everything turns black with this, and the stage lights come on and she's illuminated. And I think it's all to illuminate, like, the gap moe of her. And the gap moe is, like, that's not the right word, but to show, like, oh, she's cute, but also she's extremely serious and punky and, like, not what you'd expect for her appearance. I think they wanted to build that kind of contrast. Like,
Yeah. I think in a lot of ways, much of Elphelt's character is just about duality because, there's a lot of duality in the portrayal of, like, the notion of womanhood and then also the notion of love and kind of the double-edged sword. Yeah, no. I see perfectly synced. No, yeah, but sort of the contrasting ideals that those can represent, where it's like, on one hand, womanhood can be freeing and it can be something that lets you feel comfortable and expressive and happy, but it can also be something that pins you down because of people's conceptions about you and of societal standards. And the same could be said about love, where love is freeing. It gives you wings. It lets you do the things that you want to do. It gives you a partner that you can rely on, or it traps you. It ensnares you with expectations and responsibilities and things that you feel obligated to do. And I think in that regard, the transition from her sign design to her Xrd Rev design, I think is, like, really, really fun because we go from obviously the really nice sweet whites and pinks and reds to the black and white contrast. Her eyes are spookier now, they look a little hollow, and the collar, I guess, to both represent maybe chastity and then a little bit how she feels ensnared by her role as a woman and a daughter and someone who cares so strongly about love.
I'm just really happy as well that, like, Elphelt has the most designs out of any other character in the cast, besides legacy characters like Kai and Soul. Obviously, they have more than her. But even between game versions of Sign and Revelator, like, Daisuke found it important enough to be like, oh yeah, no, Elphelt is a constantly changing fashionista. She is constantly changing how she looks. I think that's so cool. Like, I think it doesn't matter what fit it is. I know that you guys stated dissatisfaction with her strive design, but I also just really like how much she changes between each version. The fact that people can even say, like, oh yeah, this version is my favorite Elphelt, and things like that.
Mm-hmm. Another thing that
The
speaks
mirror
against
Elphelt
the...
alt.
Yeah.
It looks so sick.
Oh my god, I love that Elphelt color so much! They made a
Yeah,
statue of that one, right?
Oh, they did, yeah. This a color you can only get if you're playing a mirror match, which is kind of sad that you can't get it like the normal means.
Wait, Xrd has mirror match colors?
Yeah.
Dude, why is this game so fucking good?
It's peak Guilty Gear.
Not to sound like the biggest fucking noob on the fucking planet, and I know I will, but if this game had a dash macro, I'd be so in on this.
Ooh, you don't want that in the same game as Slayer, really.
Yeah.
I really don't.
All I can think about is that Daru Ino tweet.
Oh, yeah.
So sorry, you're right. I think that would be a cool time to bring up too, like, I think Elphelt has the most unique weapons I've seen for a fighting game character ever, with the entire bouquet of roses that she slaps you with, and then also having a complete arsenal, like she's a one-woman army. That's so cool.
Yeah, slightly off topic, but are any of you paying attention to TNS tonight?
No,
I
I'm
know my
not.
friend's in it, but
Luke SFL beat Walter in the bracket tonight.
Oh shit, wait, Luke is a Chaos player?
Yeah, Luke the Chaos player. Luke SFL.
And Walter's the Amelia guy, I know that. But
Yeah, we love Walter, but Walter's my goat. Yeah, it was wow, Luke beat Walter 3-1.
Sorry.
Wow, this is a crazy path, because top 48 right now is Jack beat Saptic 3-0, Marvello beat Cheerio 3-0, Danny beat
really?
Nature Boy 3. Yeah, well, I mean, it's Chip versus Goldless, that is Chip's favorite. Danny beat Nature Boy 3-1, Vega beat Bright 3-0. Oh, Bright, damn, my local HC losing. I think that's my
question, does
local
Anima
HC.
still play Alpha?
Yes, I believe so.
Hooray!
There's one person championing Elphelt still, besides I think local Twitter
Yada.
user Rin.
Yada is also using is championing Elfelt. I think Rin dropped Elfelt though. No?
Wait, really?
Yeah, she's on.
The ABBA player, right? Or is it Kai?
Kai, she's a Kai player.
Oh.
Okay.
I think she's still trying to stick with ABBA though.
Walter, put your gold burst away, Walter. I'm not gonna mash on Reiko.
Put your stick away, Walter. I'm not running it back with you, Walter.
I'm not gonna money match you.
Right now, Squidgaloo just beat MacMens 3-1, and then next on screen is MFCR versus SQ. Top 8.
So yeah, I'd love to pass the floor to you guys as well for any other cool Elphelt things you guys want to tell me, anything you guys really like or any details you've noticed as well.
I would like to know how you guys feel about the bunny ears being gone in Strive.
I'm sad.
Oh,
I have them modded
yeah,
back
me
in.
too.
Absolutely heartbreaking.
It's like a huge part of her silhouette that I loved so much. Gone.
I will never forget how your grief when the ears were gone, and I can feel it too. Everything you draw with Elphelt has the ears on, and they're just such an iconic part of her.
I also use it to emote her in a way, so with that gone, I guess I still have her funny little Ahoge to work with, but I don't know, something feels missing.
They kept the
Yeah.
Thank God she still has
If they
the
got rid of
silly
that,
organ.
oh my god.
Still silly.
The silliness indicator should never be touched at all costs. It could hurt her. She could get brain damage.
It's true.
Yeah.
Important nerve ending.
Don't pull on the silly organ.
I think this is something that Dee and I were talking about shortly before the podcast, is kind of how all of the Valentines relate to each other in the context of Elphelt, but maybe more in particular Elfelt's relationship with Ramlethal, Ariel's, and then also kind of how it reflects the design mentality from the original Valentine, because I think, Elphelt says as much in the story that the failing of the original Valentine is that she didn't possess human emotion, and so she and Ramlethal were Ariel's first attempt at integrating that into the Valentine production process. And I think in that way too kind of gives us another slice of Aria, kind of like you guys were talking about. I think, at least to me, every Valentine 2 is supposed to be representative of sort of a different way that either Arya saw herself or that Soul saw Arya. So it's kind of cool that we have these bits cordoned off and then extrapolated perfectly into their own complete people by the end or the, arrival point of Strive.
I guess I never really thought about how Elphelt relates to Arya, but I guess Elphelt could be like Arya feeling like all she is are her relationships to people and like, or I'm not really sure like how she, I don't know.
That's what I was taking as.
An element of Arya?
Well, they're all clones of her, so I have to hope that like they comment something about Arya, or they are different enough from Arya that they are their own people. But
yeah.
All I remember is that like Jacko has in her system announcer, when you select Elphelt, Jacko says something about like having a similar smell to Elphelt. That's really it.
What does Elphelt smell like?
I don't know. Probably
Roses,
strawberries.
I hope.
I was also gonna say strawberries.
Honestly, I kind of get like a licorice thing from her.
I was gonna say gunpowder and roses probably.
I gotta say too, I think out of all the music references that there are for Guilty Gear, I think Elphelt's my favorite interpretation of it, where it's just literally the band name Guns N' Roses taken to a complete extreme. I think it's so fun.
There's a lot of Guns N' Roses reference. Cough, Axel, cough.
Yeah.
Yep.
Borch,
I
how
also
do you
like
feel
her
the two
Sheena
Guns N' Roses
Ringo.
characters?
Oh yeah, Sheena Ringo.
It's,
that one
photo
particular,
shoot.
that one photo where she holds like a pistol up to her head while in the wedding dress. That's I referenced that one for one of my pieces actually.
Oh, nice. Would you want to throw that in the chat so you could put it up too when you mention
Yes, actually, I can do that right now.
That'd be awesome.
Yes, I can beat you while you're dead. I mean, what?
No, but yeah, I think just kind of circling back to something that I was mentioning before, I feel like it kind of touches on that core aspect of Elphelt's character, which is like kind of the struggles of womanhood and of love. That, while a lot of people can see them reductively as like perfectly easy and fun things, there are obviously struggles that come with them, but those don't define them exclusively either. Like it's really just about living the way that you want to live and sort of acknowledging the dimensionality of everything. And on the subject of her relation to the Valentines, this is something, again, that I think Dee had a little bit more to say before the podcast than I did, but how she kind of contrasts with Ramlethal, with both of them merging at around the same time, where, Ramlethal shows up and is the sort of immediately more threatening of the two sisters that we see, because, she's obviously the one, like, blowing people up and talking about Ariel's plan to eliminate redundancies. But I remember...
Ramlethal has the immediate, like, sharp grin, like the shark grin thing going on. Her silhouette has a bulked out shoulders, and she's got the pauldrons on. She's got like a soldier's uniform. But you can also see, if you really look deeper, that she's not wearing a lot of things correctly. Like, she's not wearing a lot of clothes. She's wearing a belt around her breasts and wearing, like, basically no underwear and, like, no shoes at all either. So what you get is, from the outside, she's a complete soldier, and on the inside, she's someone that doesn't really understand what's going on, which I think captures her character really well. Like, she's very alien in that sense. Compare that to Elphelt, and outside she's got the big poofy dress on, and she's clearly showing you like that she's a very pretty girl, that she's got the cuteness going on and the roses. She wants you to fall in love with her, and when you look deeper on her design, then you start noticing, oh yeah, wait, she doesn't just have the pretty wedding dress, she has spikes going on, she's deadly. And I think the biggest thing I think of when I think of Elphelt as a difference from Ramlethal is that Ramlethal has her shark grin. Elphelt has, like, big, doughy blue eyes. She looks like a doe. She looks at you and kind of blankish. Like, she's got very alien eyes. Like, her sockets don't light correctly. She doesn't really blink. And it kind of, like, gives me the impression, like, oh, she's studying your every move. She's got targets, like, line eyes, And you get, like, the impression that Elphelt is the real soldier, not Ramlethal. Ramlethal's, like, harmless compared to Elphelt.
Ramlethal's a pawn, while soldier is... So, while the commander is Elphelt.
Yeah. And also, like, she has this really huge smile. I think it's probably, like, the strangest out of like most of like the female Guilty Gear characters.
Yeah.
It like really just like stretches across her mouth and is even like crooked in her Revelator design.
I think it's so interesting too that like in Xrd Sign, like Elphelt is trying to teach Ramlethal how to smile, and it's like, oh, you just gotta think something and just do it. And by the end, Ramlethal can have a true, real smile, but the entire time, like before Elphelt goes crazy mode and starts going into her like reign of justice, I don't know what to call it, her shadow form, she kind of has that fake smile going on. She's the one that actually had to learn how to really smile in the way that Ram did. It's really cool.
Yeah, I feel like their contrast is another one of those things that invites you to think more deeply about Guilty Gear and its characters, like how Daisuke likes to do all the time, where it's like, even within the story itself, like, no one is as simple as they appear. Like, it's important to not be superficial when we try to appreciate the depth of a person, because, yeah, while Ramlethal has what, you know, we might think is like, oh, she's a lot more dangerous overtly than Elphelt is, like, when you put them next to each other, it's very clear there, that juxtaposition is, oh, wait, Ramlethal is actually a little bit more naive, and Elphelt's a little bit more aware of what it is exactly that they're doing, and how she feels about everything. She's just like so much more, again, if you could read in between the lines and the way that she interacts with people, a lot more kind of dour about things, at least early on, than Ramlethal is, right? Because Ramlethal is just out here happy to complete her orders.
Elphelt is very much of like, hey, I think things can be okay. We'll have a good ending. Sin, you should make up with Kai. You should be, you know, be a good son, and we can all be friends with Ramlethal, and this will be great. And then she has those moments where it's like, I wish I could also have friends as well. I wish this could be for me.
And it's almost like her insistence on the fact that things can work out well speaks to her desperation, though, that it's like she feels that that's like a tenuous position to uphold, that it's not guaranteed. Whereas like Ramlethal is just kind of going through the motions, taking things as they come, right? Where she's like, oh, what's this? What's that? And like, you know, Elphelt is very clearly pining for a particular kind of ending here. And I think it's because she's not guaranteed that she can have it. You know, she's been infected by those thoughts from Ariel's that she isn't good enough, or that, you know, the people that she loves and the world that she inhabits isn't for her, and that should be gotten rid of, and that, you know, she is only a means to an end and a weapon, and can't possibly be a human her own and like have her own thoughts and feelings. And that's like another thing I think that kind of builds on her relationship with love, because it's another way for her to distract herself from that fact where it's like, I've only been told my entire life that I exist to be a weapon. Like my roses are a facade to conceal guns, in the same way that my happy-go-lucky demeanor is a facade to conceal the fact that I'm here to kill all of these people that trust so much in me. But you know, as we see, like that isn't really the fullness of it either. Like the happy-go-lucky demeanor is not a facade. It's just as much a part of her as being a Valentine is. It's just that she's been locked off from being able to express and accept that up until this point, which again I think is like super duper cool.
On a more silly angle, can I talk about how she completely solos Leo before all this happens?
Do it.
Therefore, clearly the Elphelt Leo matches should be like 9-1 her favor, easy.
True.
I'm not I'm not an expert in matchups for Xrd, but what is the Elphelt Leo matchup in this game?
Oh, I have no idea. I only met in the story mode that she wipes his ass, but...
Should be winning for Alpha.
True.
Because she kind of...
When do I get out of the combo? Oh my god!
That's like my favorite combo to do, just like a loop of like the gunshot into bridle.
So true. So real. But yeah, it should be Elphelt favored, you were saying?
Yeah, it's most likely Alpha favored. I don't play Xrd as nearly as much as I play Stride. If you ask me a Stride matchup, I probably know it instantly. Xrd, not as much, but I imagine with like Elphelt Kid, he probably wins the matchup for Shmuel.
So, as a good question, then what would you say is Elphelt's best matchup in Stride?
No,
Tragic.
I was thinking that,
Why do we have to pit two bad bitches against each other?
And the reason I say that is because Elphelt's 2S is like really good at kind of commanding the midstream versus Eno. And also like Elphelt can play super lane versus Eno and kind of just spam sniper. And
that was literally how I was feeling as well, because it's not like you can counter it with no at all, because her projectile will always come out before you can do anything, and I feel like her buttons cover space in a way that like Ino's forward dash and stroke and everything can't really get through.
Yeah, and the round start RPS is kind of messed up because I remember when I was like labbing out Elphelt when he came out, like I fought a couple of Inos, and like it's crazy what happens, what buttons beat what. Because Rekka beats Ino 2S. I think it was either 2S or Stroke. I know it beats one of those two. I actually probably have it in my thing, but I don't really want to look it up. Yeah, and then just Elphelt's pressure is really super snowbally, and Ino doesn't have the health to kind of maintain a lot of hits versus Elphelt, because it's kind of, they're both mixed maniacs, but obviously Elphelt's a little less interactive than Ino's, because Ino's is fuzzyable offense, while Elphelt is not. Well, technically, but it's a 2-frame fuzzy, so good luck.
What's the input for Pineberry?
It's quarter circle forward P.
Thank you. Wait, did I let go of it? No. Oh shit.
Oh, you have to throw it by doing like a 2P or 4P.
Oh. Sorry. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. But yeah, you can continue, Vera. I'm sorry. I just had to complain a little bit.
All good. Yeah. And they're probably your worst matchup is like Sin. So...
Really? Kind of makes it funny that Tempest brought out the Elphelt then.
Oh, well, yeah, that's the
Tempest
thing.
played Elphelt?
Tempest played Elphelt at the, I think it was the Frost.
Yeah.
No way, I didn't pay attention.
Yeah, no, Tempest, okay, so Tempest was losing pretty hard as Leo to Umisho's Soul. So Tempest switched to Elphelt, and then Umisho lost the game and switched to Sin.
Yeah, that's also a big surprise.
I remember that I saw quite a few people in chat and on Twitter for some reason being like, oh, Tempest was clearly throwing to Umisho, and this was all scripted, which is, first of all, BS. I think it's that this is all an elite gambit of counterpicking the counterpick, because last time Umisho busted out the Sin to completely destroy Tempest in finals. I forget what tournament it was. And it was hype as hell. I really liked watching that. And this was an answer to that. I don't know why Elphelt went to Sin exactly, but it was a fun match to watch. I think it's just Elphelt's like hit and strive is very weak to DPs. I don't know why Tempest picked Elphelt, but
Tempest probably picked it because there's a lot of mid-range shenanigans with Elphelt versus Umisho, and Umisho's also like adapted to Tempest's
Sin.
Tempest Leo.
Oh.
And so because Umisho was the one who was playing Sin, right? And so since those two play against each other a lot, shaking it up like that is always a good idea, and pushing people out of their comfort zone. And Elphelt has ways to deal with DP and such, but like there's a lot of range that she lacks. So Soul's DP is a bit smaller. Sin's DP is massive, and Sin also has a bit stronger, has stronger mix because 2H and Hoof Stomp. So like in regards to that, Elphelt gets kind of trapped, and there's not much she can really do. And once Sin gets the ball rolling, it's really hard to stop because that was when Sin had higher damage. Oh wait, no, that was
Tyrant Barrel, I think it's called. Just was not as scaled as the other supers that got toned down at the time.
Yeah, I don't remember when I think the nerfs were after. No, we were before. Yeah, so it was nerfed. Am I going crazy? I might be gaslighting myself right now. Yeah, I'm gaslighting myself right now. But yeah, it's
Borch, can
tough.
I fight you next?
Okay.
It's tough for Elphelt because she's got to worry about DP, otherwise she can't start her pressure. But then the other opponent has to worry about getting DP or
getting reset on.
Yeah, getting their DP reset or baited, and then they take like 60-70% because they chose to challenge. They chose to challenge Elphelt's Rekka. You can react to it. It's just tight. Yeah.
Whoa, holy shit, Pike, I'm seeing the art that you put in chat earlier. This is so cool.
It's kind of old, but I kind of always liked that one.
I love that artwork so much. It's so pretty.
Thank you.
Have you done I'm actually not familiar if you've drawn Elphelt. I think you've done collab pieces with Pike, right?
Oh, she's drawn many Elphelt pieces.
I've drawn an Elphelt or two. She's one of my favorites to draw, like up there with Jacko and stuff. I can show some. Actually, I did a
Wait, Pike, you play
Valentine's
Answer?
Day artwork.
Yeah, I have a answer pocket in case like people, get upset about the whole Elphelt's top tier thing.
Get upset about that. They gotta hold that. They're playing Xrd. They should know. I mean, to be fair, that's why I have a pocket soul in this game.
Soul is pretty crazy on his own.
I
Oh
like
my
Soul
God.
Bad Guy, Mr. Bad Guy, Mr. Bad
I like
Guy.
Soul Bad Guy too. I just feel so scared playing him.
He's a beautiful lesbian that you always drag an install on and then just
He's
do
like
higher
a-
rave.
He's like a majestic horse.
No, ever since Ricky
Prancing
made that
around.
post, I can't stop fucking thinking about it.
Yeah.
What?
He's like a horse.
He's got a beautiful horse tail, and his pants and shoes, when you look at it front facing, look like hooves.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It's awesome.
I'm trying to find this.
Someone
I
can
made a
find me.
Valentine's Day artwork for Elphelt, and someone actually modded the outfit into Stride.
Oh, I remember that.
Wait, really?
Yeah. I'm trying to find. Oh, here we go. I found the post. It's buried in my bookmarks.
Oh, I remember seeing a one mod someone made it when it was like for May, and it's oh yeah, she's Elfelt's biggest fan, and it's
Oh
just.
yeah, I saw that one. That was good.
Mhm.
Oh,
Here we go. I think I sent the link to the red chat. That'd be funny if I didn't. Okay, I did.
Oh my fucking god, this is so cute!
Yeah, I was
can
so
totally
happy.
see
It was
this
like
as your art
it was when
style with the
Elphelt.
glasses.
Yeah. Here, I'll try to find the artwork. It was like the day that she dropped too. I did not expect anyone to mod anything that fast.
Ah, no one's fighting me! Well, I guess I have to spectate.
So we spoke a little bit earlier in the podcast about how we came upon Elphelt as a character, but I was wondering more specifically, what is it about Elphelt that resonates with you? Like, why is she the silly that our lives should be devoted to?
I think just because I do see a lot of myself in her, and like, how she's kind of super high energy, and but she's not perfect. She has her struggles. She's not like, she's high energy, but she hurts people sometimes. And she doesn't mean to, and then she grows from it, and just trying to make a difference without realizing sometimes it's harder than we think, and then and then Souls Lions in Stride, just quit annoying your family. That one hits, because like I already feel like a Elphelt character, and then like, damn, you know your family too? That's real. That's real.
So cool. I guess not cool's not the right word for it, but I'm in awe of how much you feel connected to her. I think that's so cool.
I mean, like I have like I was so no, it's okay. I'm sorry. I was like so. One of the things I was disappointed with Strive Elphelt and with Xrd Elphelt was in Elphelt and Xrd Elphelt was kind of more of a pansexual character in that regards, because there was a lot of like for Biken. My favorite line was Biken win quote saying "Stop looking at my boobs."
Yeah.
That was great. But in Strive, they just kind of removed the
Yeah, I
With
wanted
the
to bring that
pansexual
up.
stuff,
I'm
too.
kind of sad that a lot of her bisexual, like, implicitly she kind of is a bisexual character by virtue
right?
that she
Yeah,
finds
yeah.
you lovable at anyone and makes you fall in love with her. And and judging by how she is, she shouldn't really care who her partner is. And
Yeah.
I'm kind of sad that they dialed back and Strive and said, "Oh no, she is exclusively into men." Like really
that one really made me so sad. It's one of the biggest disappointments. I'm wondering if it was something that was unintentional too, but I hope it's just someone just not knowing the character.
I remember before she came out, I actually got the complete wrong impression of her. I was really proud of it too, and I feel kind of stupid for talking about it so often. but I always envisioned Elphelt as an asexual character that was just always using love as a defensive coping mechanism. And if it wasn't that she was asexual, it was that she had like compet and she was a lesbian fully.
Yeah, I'm saying I still am not in that cope. She's in her compet phase. Oh god.
I was really surprised then when Strive dropped, and it's like, oh no, you know, she's flirting with every guy, and also she's basically going to marry Nago. Not that I don't like Elphelt Nago, because I think that's very cute. I also really like how the voice actors themselves are playing into that a lot.
True.
But I can't lie, I was so there for
I was.
Elphelt as a lesbian.
Me too. I was kind of hoping for Elphelt Geo. I'm not gonna lie. That one would have been peak.
One.
It's got listen, contrasting vibe. The contrasting vibes are there. It's because you know you got the, you know, like Elphelt like dogs. You got the dog. You got Ray. You got the wolf, right? And also like, you know, Geo's kind of lazy. Geo's really down to earth, really chill, and we contrast very well with Elphelt's super high energy, right?
I think Elphelt has a calm line against Millia where she's like, oh, and for you, I'd write a cool, mature song because why? Because I'm a cool, mature woman. And honestly, I can see that as her whole dynamic with Giovanna.
Right? Yeah, exactly. It'd be very cute vibes, and that's why I like it that lot too. They should have done it.
I think Giovanna needs someone more high key to balance out her mood, you know?
Exactly. That's what I've been saying. I also think half the cast like Leo is really boring and cringe.
Yeah.
I don't like Leo.
Don't worry, Daisuke also does not like Leo. Like, Daisuke's on record as saying, like, oh yeah, I made Leo as a joke character non-stop.
Hell
Oh, sorry.
Can we nerf him this? Can they nerf this?
Yeah.
Funny thing is, I think also Daisuke was a Leo actor.
Why?
I don't know.
Ain't no way.
Mike, I wanted to ask you, know, obviously you love Elphelt, and she is your one and only wife, outside of Borch. Sorry, Borch. But,
her second and other wife.
yeah. But I wanted to ask her, like, I know it's a very juvenile question, but is there, like, a ship or, like, relationship you think would be best for Elphelt? And
That's a
also,
good
how do you feel about
question.
Elphelt?
I like Elf Nago. It's pretty cute. Their dynamic is like they do have like a bit of contrast on their own because like Nago's a very like serious, like calm kind of character, and it's just like really offset by how energetic and how much of a goober Elphelt is. Me personally, I think Elphelt should not. How do I say it? I don't think. Yeah. I feel like she has a lot of like self-love, you know, issues to work out before, you know, finding a person to really like look in the same direction as her. Because as it is, like I think about Dizzy's win quote a lot. She says, "Look for someone who sees in the same direction as you, rather than someone who looks at you."
That's so funny. I think Jay was talking about that same quote on the Disney podcast.
Oh.
But yeah, I think Elphelt is someone that could use like a long period of healing. And it's kind of funny to think that in Strive, like, oh yeah, after 3 weeks, she's just like good to go. But...
I definitely don't think that. I think they're gonna branch expand on that more in the next story. And hopefully we get the Yuri in the next one.
Yuri!
In my mind's eye, I can also see Elphelt as being someone that like retires to the countryside, and, like gets a cat, and she learns how to care for a cat, and that is what helps her like realize what it really means to care and love for someone.
That'd be hype.
But at the same time, I guess that's kind of what Ramlefelt did, right, with the dog.
To be fair, Ramlefelt is kind of a cat.
True.
I wanted to ask you guys, how do you guys feel about the sisterly relationship between Elphelt and Ram? Because I think they are both really, really fun to think of as a dynamic where it's like, oh yeah, Elphelt's the one that's like dragging Ramlefelt to like the mall and stuff, and like buying Ramlefelt all kinds of clothes, and Ramlefelt's always the person that like will listen to her and support her. Like, I think they're
She's
really
just like me, for real. She's just like me.
Yeah, it's really silly.
I love their sister dynamic so much. It's so sweet.
Yeah, a lot of my friends will stay kind of planted, and then I'll pull them out to kind of go do stuff. Like, bunch of I convinced like 6 people to go to the Strive monthly on like Saturday. that didn't even know it existed, so it was like, it's kind of funny. It was fun. It was actually really fun because I commentated the top 8 too, or at the end, and then like we had someone plugged live, which was funny.
Mhm.
Did you ban or did you just like, come on, dude?
Like, didn't ban. No, I don't think we're gonna ban over that. It was just funny because like he got put on. He was down 2-1 against Gold Lewis. First round of that match of the final game of the game, right? First round, he has burst. Gets put on defense once. Just stops blocking entirely. Just goes to character select and leaves.
What was he playing?
Happy Chaos.
Oh, come on, he can't be doing that on HD.
That's what we all said. That's what we all said. And Remy Celeste was there too. He won the entire tournament.
Wow.
Yeah.
Stacked local, or I guess it's sorry, monthly.
Oh, it's stacked. We have Kami99, we have Remy Celeste, we have Casper, Wonton, like Serp.
Holy shit.
A lot of weird players too. Remy's nice. Remy's nice to talk to. Yeah, it was a fun monthly. A lot of people. There's like 80 attendance total for overall the game.
That's really high, actually.
Yeah,
My Olympic weekend, we recently hit our highest number. We got 42 people for Tekken 8. And
yeah,
it's
that's
really cool
awesome.
because I think we were starting to be eligible for Tekken World Tour and things like that.
Ooh, that's
I'm very
good
proud
to
of my Theo. She's really done a lot of work to build up our scene.
That's fantastic though. I'm so glad that your scene's going strong.
Pike, Borch, Mari, do you guys actually compete at all, or?
I played Frosty Fastings this year.
How was that?
So I had Lord Knight in my fucking pools second round. Yeah. I got through my first game fine, but I had to go against him like right after.
Yeah.
And I did not.
Putting up a picture of a white woman before you start.
No, I did not. But he expected that I'd be playing Alpha because of my tag. My org tag was Elphelt Nation, yeah. But no, I took out Jacko instead because I was like afraid. Because I feel like Viking would totally mess up Elpha because of like the
Oh, I
parries.
didn't see plates from Jacko.
Yeah, she's actually my main. But yeah, I actually took one game off of him.
Hell yeah, my go.
Therefore, you're actually
Yeah.
Exactly.
Technically, I won the tournament, really.
You won the tournament, you know.
You know,
Power scaling and all.
I think that's the same tournament where it started the whole thing with Lord Knight, where it's like that one person was like, "Oh wow, Lord Knight's not just a YouTuber; he's actually a really good player." And it's like, "Oh my god, do they know?"
Do they know?
Do they know?
How was Frosty
Yeah.
for you? You said you
Oh my-
only got to meet a couple Elphelt cosplayers, right?
Just one.
Oh, right, I remember.
There's like one more in the venue, I think, but like she only showed up at like after 10, and at that point I was just like hanging out with homies, hanging out with Borch and like some other friends, and I still feel very sour about that because like they had such a cool cosplay.
No, they look so cool. I don't know why they only showed up like when the venue was like closing soon. It was so
Yeah.
unfortunate.
But otherwise, I'd say Frosty's was like the best weekend of this year. A lot of good things happened. Yeah, I guess it's also where I like
In a very roundabout way, you can be like, "Hey, Elfo is the reason why I had like the best weekend of my life." I know it's not like directly because of her, but you know.
No, it's
it
pretty
really
directly
feels like it,
because
yeah.
No, he says it all the time.
What
He's
are you
like,
trying to
Elfelt's the reason why I have a girlfriend right now.
He is a matchmaker, then.
Thank you, Elphelt.
To that end, I guess to circle back to my question, Borch, what would you say it is that draws you to Elphelt specifically as a character?
I guess like, how would I describe it? I wouldn't say I have like a similar outlook on love in that like I seek people out constantly. But I think I sort of had like a similar journey where it's like a desire to love someone, but I felt like I needed to find myself first.
Yeah.
And especially like in her Strive theme, I think like I hear the lyrics, I'm like, it's literally me. This is a song about me.
Oh, that
And then like how doting she is and all that stuff, and how she fantasizes sometimes. I see that too.
I I know for, like, when I listen to Elphelt's theme, when she starts, like, saying, oh, hallelujah, I genuinely do feel like, oh yeah, I'm, like, cheering with her as well.
Yeah. I love it so much. I love extras.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Such a good song.
so good.
Yeah, it's just people our love journeys are a little similar.
Yeah, for me, like, I kind of, growing up, I would tend to get latched on to people very quickly. I think that's something to do with ADHD as well. And I've been hurt a lot by people too, as a result, but that really jaded me at all. It really kind of just trusted my gut. And
Well, I'm glad that you've experienced, like, you can recognize that it's something that happened, and also that you can, like, start undergoing healing in that enough so that you can recognize it within, like, another fictional character. Elphelt is definitely a character that has been hurt before, and hurt is a very big part of her character. Like, I know in Xrd she was gifted a dream world where she wouldn't have to feel hurt anymore, where people would love her and that would be it. And in a very shocking character moment that I did not expect for her, she just immediately says, no, I do not want this dream world at all. I want to go back to a reality where I can be rejected by people, and I can put myself on through my own torment of leading people on and feeling that pain, because it's something I'm familiar with, it's something I know how to do, you know? And I think, like, it kind of speaks to a lot of, like, hey, like, real pain that people have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it hits on the essence of Elphelt as a character, that in spite of all the pageantry that goes into, like, you know, her over-the-top designs and personalities and attitude, she's still fundamentally, like, concerned with being true and real with how she feels about the world. That, you know, for as much as so much of life and love is a performance, that it's essential to her that the core of that is real and something that she can believe in, and that's what she's, like, trying to find. So I think that that's really cool. And I hope that in all of my conversations about how Elphelt has viewed romance, that I didn't sound like too disparaging of the notion of, like, having, you know, romance that isn't exactly perfect, but that still kind of helps you figure out who you are, because I feel like, you know, there's something to be said for the fact that, like, not, you know, like, nobody's life is essentially perfect, but it's good to be able to take something from moments, good or bad, that you live, and then still keep running through your life with those. That was just a little disclaimer I wanted to put out there. But Pike, why Elphelt?
Why Elphelt?
Why Elphelt? Why is Elphelt the girl?
I don't know. Honestly, I've always been kind of, like, wondering why. It's not that I, like, I don't know.
It just kind of happened.
Yeah, I guess. I hope it doesn't seem, like, shallow, because, like, all of you have, like, really, like, interesting reasons.
I don't think it's shallow at all, you know? If you love a character, that can be as simple as enough as it is. Even if it's like, hey, you saw her, found her hot and tell, and then decided to keep drawing her, like, that is completely normal and fine. And honestly, like, she has an extremely, like, eye-catching design, not even, like, in terms of, like, sexuality. I think for me it's also that she's just got a really, really pretty design and it's fun to draw and things like that. For me, it's that, like, I think she's super empowering because I really, really, really loved Amy Rose as a kid, and she strikes the same exact dynamic as Amy Rose for me.
And it's also that, like, through, I guess, finding interest in Elphelt that way, you can be more open to, like, the deeper parts of her character, which I guess is what a lot of people are going through right now with, like, the introduction of Elphelt. Gives them that opportunity to really, like, get to know Elphelt as a character.
Yeah.
Because, like, while I might not have had an interesting reason, it was kind of a gateway for me to really explore her as a character and just, I guess, admire her for...
So that's a question. Why did you start the Elphelt Nation anyways? How is that something that even started? Was it just like, oh yeah, let's make a fun hashtag so I can put all my art somewhere, or...
Yeah, that just came out of nowhere, really, because, like, a mutual just, like, did, like, a hashtag, Elphelt Nation. I thought that was kind of neat, so I just started posting my art under that tag and just retweeted everything that went under it and encouraged other people to, I guess, share their...
was really big for you. I would check Twitter and it would just be like 8 Elphelts, one after the other.
Yeah, so it kind of just grew into, like, a big community thing where people would share artwork and have discussion over the character. at some points, even like Bevian, one of the top players for Elphelt, shared stream announcements under the tag. I thought that was like really cool. It felt like a real community, you know?
So
Yeah.
cool. It's really cool when like you just do something for like the hell of it and you see like your influence in the world. Like even if it's something as silly as like, oh yeah, here's my hashtag just going out in the world. People associate this character with me. Like I think that's really fucking cool that you've like built like your identity around being this like really cool community person. And like even if you're not as like super big into Elphelt anymore, like I think it's just really cool and it shows them like how else you do stuff. Where it's like, yeah, you're Pike, the really cool artist guy.
And I won't deny that like Elphelt and like the whole community gathered around her played a big part of my experience on Twitter or like Guilty Gear community as a whole. And it's always something I hold the character like precious in my heart for.
And Mari, I know for you, like your account for like bi-hourly Elphelt is like kind of huge. Like I can't remember what the exact like follower count or anything like that is, but I know I see your posts all the time and they get like really big. And like that's your influence in a way too. Like, oh yeah, you're just like a girl that really loves Elphelt. Like you're her wife.
I'm gonna be honest. Since it's co-run, most of the posts that I make are actually really small, and most of the posts that Mr. makes is the other owner are the ones that get big. So
Yeah,
I'm a bit fraudulent.
Oh no.
He posts a lot of the stuff. It's because I'm busy like literally all the time with everything. But I give him a lot of images to post, so he just kind of posts them. I just give him the images and stuff. I gave Pike the recent image, the whole Elphelt trend where it was like her looking shocked and all that. I got that from a friend, and then Pike saw it as my profile picture and wanted it, so I just gave it to him, and then it turned into a whole thing, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah, just circling back a little bit to still talking about Pike's love of Elphelt, I just want to say that I think that's real as fuck, personally. I think that there's something like really cool and pure about just being like, yeah, no, I like this character, I love this character just because I love this character. I think that it's fine to have that sort of love for love's sake, and I think that that's really cool. You know, it's that reflexive, self-evident statement. Long cat is long. Me loving Elphelt is me loving Elphelt. It requires no justification. I think that that's really dope.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, even, like, you said, like, oh, it's not, I don't know how, like, loving Elphelt like this started, and, like, I don't know, like, it's not that serious and things like that. I think it's super fucking inspiring to have, like, a brand like that, and, like, having other people, like, join in and be like, oh, yeah, Elphelt Nation, like, oh, yeah, he's the Elphelt guy, and things like that. Like, I kind of, like, I'm always like, oh, man, am I, like, the character guy of anything? I don't really think so. I think I'm just kind of the autistic person online. It's, like, super inspiring how you inspire other people to be like that. Like, I know, for example, Wisteria, like, started, like, Testicle because of you, and Wisteria, like, you know, feels good about, like, their art and things like that. And I know you've done, like, countless influences for other people as well. And I just think, like, hey, that's your impact on the world. That's really cool.
Yeah.
And I think it's really cool, like, even on, like, not a competitive level, that you can have that kind of association from, like, a fan base level or, like, an art level. That's just super cool. And, like, I hope that me, like, gassing up Pike at all isn't, like, diminishing your guys' love of Elphelt either. I just wanted to commend Pike for, like, what he's done for the community as well. But you guys are, like, obviously you have really clear love for her as well. And I think it's really cool talking to you guys as well, with respect to
like,
that.
really, Elphelt Nation wouldn't be where it is without, like, the people contributing to it. Because, like, again, like, while I can, like, just post about the character, if... Sorry, I'm just kind of, like, locked in again.
No, you're good.
I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, Elphelt Nation is made up by the people. Not to make it sound like a real, like, grand thing, but in the end, it's really what it is.
Yeah.
And, like, the other character tags that kind of came out of it. And, for me, it was really amazing seeing that, like, change in perspective towards Elphelt, like, in the popularity polls between, like, the earlier stages of the game and more recently before she came out as DLC.
Yeah, I totally forgot that, like, you quite literally had an effect on the world with respect to the poll results, because she went from, like, what, 9th in Korea to #1 in multiple regions?
I really didn't do anything. I'm just kind of like...
These are all cool art. And also you
Yeah, that's all I really
talk
do.
cool thoughts.
Just circling back to the question again, though, want to make sure that we absolutely have everyone featured. Mari, why Elphelt? What was it about Elphelt that brought you to her?
Jeez, these are questions that I was not prepared to answer. Why Elphelt? I mean, that's honestly really difficult. Cause me meeting Mister, which is the person I co-run the account with, he was really big on Elphelt. And then he also helped me with like a bunch of issues. So I suppose just having someone who is associated with Elphelt helped me with like real world issues, made me associate my healing with Elphelt. So I was like, you know, this character and this person saved my life, so I'm gonna appreciate them a lot, and I mean, if anything, like forever, you know? So I really love Elphelt for the association in my life and the impact of things, so that's all for me.
I think that's a definite component of her character in the story too, like the importance and non-linearity and just like, I guess, kind of how challenging it is to heal from certain things, but how there are still people out there who will help you through it, obviously, because, you know, Rev is all about the cast, like, banding together to come save Elphelt and remind her that she deserves to be a person and be happy, even after she's almost given up hope on herself, right, and just thought, like, oh man, you know, maybe I am just a component of justice, that I'm just, like, this weapon, but no, like, all the people whose lives that she's touched and are coming back around to help her in turn, reminding her that, like, no, you matter, you're unique, and you easily deserve love just by virtue of being born.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, you just reminded me that the entire plot of Revelator is that Universal Will is like, I want every single person on Earth to become Elphelt Valentine, and Elphelt Valentine will be the last person on Earth. God, that's so sad for her. But also, like, I can't even imagine what's that like in her position then when she was waiting to get, you know, saved, and also how she must have been feeling and things like that. Like, how does it feel to become Princess Peach? You know, they always ask, like, where is Princess Peach? Never, how is Princess Peach?
Yeah. No, but it is, like, such a uniquely harrowing ordeal, because I feel like so much of Elphelt's character is about that recognition of the self through the other, for better or for worse, right? Like, so much of her is, like, I have these standards being applied to me by other people, like Ariel's, or like the world at large, that I feel like I need to conform to, but then also, like, oh, I'm coming to understand myself more because of the way that I interact with the rest of the cast and how they appreciate me and what they're telling me about me that I'm beginning to believe for myself in more of a positive way. You asked before about her relationship with Ramlethal, and I think that's like a really standout example of that. The scene where she teaches Ramlethal the importance of smiling and how that makes her a person and how everyone deserves to be happy, I think is like, there you go. Like, that shows not that you need other people 100% of the time, but that it's okay to need people and to rely on your friends to help you through things, and that they will be there for you, right? So I feel like for Elphelt, there's a unique kind of horror being Ariel's golden child that the universe should be modeled after, and then that resulting in the rest of the world being gone, the world who helped her realize who she wanted to be, not just who she should be. So,
having, like,
cool.
Mom issues is an extremely relatable thing to, like,
Yeah.
hey, having to live up to what your mom wants you to be, and also not being able to be that, and having to support your mother and how you, like, grow from that is super cool. And how she even, like, literally has her rebellious phase, and how with Soul is recognizing that rebellious phase and is being, like, her cool dad. Actually, like, you know, Soul being, like, the guy that's, like, actually taking her and, like, letting her be this way, that's kind of cool.
But yeah, no, I'm really glad that you brought that up, because it was something that I wanted to talk about, where, like, so much of Elphelt's character is also that struggle of being a daughter, a child of a mother specifically, and the way that people will try to live vicariously through their children and project their values onto them and make them conform into the way they think they should be, and then having to navigate that struggle of figuring out who you actually are amidst what has been thrown onto you and what you actually have ordained for yourself. And I think that really comes out too in her interactions with the younger characters, like your Sins of the world and your Ramlethals. But to a degree, yeah, like her interactions with Soul too, absolutely, as being like a supportive person who recognizes the value of like being rebellious and being a punk, not just as like a fun movement you can wear, but as like a way to sort of put yourself out there and experience your own life.
On a more lighter end, I think one of my favorite scenes in all of Xrd is her scene where Birthday Train starts playing, and
Yeah, that's one of my favorites too.
she's like, first thing she does is like, oh yeah, Ramlethal, you want to be human? You should eat tons of carbs. Here's pizza, here's like ice cream, here's like cookies, all this stuff. Let's just have all this fun stuff. And then like the fact that she outfit swaps with Ramlethal and like having super fun times in like in Ram's clothes. Meanwhile, Ram is just sitting there like, I want to die. This is awful. I hate this. Elphelt is very much like a center of the party kind of person. She feels really relatable and like someone I would really want to hang out with. And I think it's the kind of presence that allows Ramlethal to actually heal. And clearly she's really good friends with Sin. They have a really good dynamic that they play off of each other, where it's like, I'm stupid and this is stupider kind of stuff.
It just kind of coincides with a lot of what I was talking about already, but the scene where she's telling Sin and Soul about what her purpose was, and it's like, oh, well, there you could see part of the reason that she was given emotions, according to Ariel's and herself, was that so she could easily infiltrate and monitor Soul. And again, I think that speaks to like the notion of the facade versus the real self, and how there's kind of that nebulous distinction between them, where it's like, oh, like these feelings themselves are just a weapon, when everyone around you is actually saying like, no, you're allowed to feel, like you're actually human. It's just like your mom is trying to tell you that you're a weapon.
I think what also gets me too is like, I can't believe I haven't even talked about this aspect, but the fact that Elphelt is extremely animated and that she has like 10 million emotions going on at all times, and that like between like her fake crying and her like going over the top and 110% with everything, like something I was thinking about is like how when she sleeps she's like, oh, Elphelt Valentine, eliminate all redundancies, and then she wakes up, she's like, oh my god, what's happening? Sin, you're watching me sleep? That's so freaking weird. What if I was drooling? What if I was ugly? Was I ugly? Just like, she's so full of life. I can't remember if I've asked or not, but do you guys have like a specific scene that you think like that you love Elphelt the most, and like that you think this is Elphelt to me? I love this the most. There's someone on YouTube that uploads lyrics to everything, and for Frisia, they have the scene with Elphelt and Ramlethal hugging as the lyric video, and that's immediately what comes to mind for me. And it's like, I cry. It's like very, very sweet. I think it's really cool too that the thing that like saves Elphelt isn't even like a romantic husband or a wife or anything like that. It's just having family, like platonic and like familial love.
Yes, no. That was something I wanted to touch on too. How like the definition of love doesn't just have to encompass romance, and it's also for Elphelt like a lot about familial love and platonic love. Just having people in your life who care about and understand you and who respect you as a human being. And again, I think that also speaks to like mine and, you know, like many others' favorite scene of Elphelt too, being the one that Soul's reaching out for her as she's floating away, and like trying to come to terms with living as a person. Super cool. Really, really touching. Did make me tear up when we rewatched it again last year.
I think every girl should be allowed to make an independence in the studio, and also have to say okay.
Girls do this.
I think Elphelt's like whole boss sequence where she turns into like Valentine or like Diva is so cool. We're like, oh yeah, she's like a complete monster. She's a huge soldier. That's so awesome. And I think it's because of that it also spawned things like the jokes like Elphelt.exe and like Demon Elphelt, things like that.
Elphelt.exe was a special case. It was like, it all just happened in like a VC. Like me and some other people did a running joke where they edited the Dustloop wiki to have like hyper-realistic blood on Elphelt's eyes, and then the Elphelt.exe Twitter account just appeared out of nowhere. And let me tell you, No, that's not me.
I thought that was
Yeah.
you too, actually.
It was not me, but I eventually had shared access to the accounts, but most of the posts were like done by another person. But she's put to sleep right now. She'll arise another day.
Maybe some
can't
other
know.
time.
Sweet princess.
It was also nice, the amount of fan art that came out of it. And it was actually like surprisingly like really huge overseas. Like there was a Japanese artist who made like a animation of Elphelt just kind of like teleporting across a hall and then just turning into Elphelt.exe
No way.
when she gets close. Yeah, like a jump scare. It was so cool.
That's so cool, actually. I had no idea.
Yeah.
Continuing.
Yeah, it does.
Just continuing on about Elphelt and her relationships, we spoke a little bit about her relationship to Ramlethal and her relationship to Aerials, but did anyone else have anything to say about maybe her relationship with Nagoriyuki, or Faust, or Sin?
I forgot that she even talked with Faust. My bad.
In the arcade mode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's crazy that, like, Elphelt doesn't go, like, a little bit with her flirtations or advances at all. She goes, like, 200%, because I heard her saying that, like, I want to have kids with you, Faust. I want to have grandkids. I want our grandkids to have grandkids.
Faust is like, dangerous.
I gotta say, too, like, it's a very underrated aspect of her, but Elphelt is really, really well written when it comes to comedy. Like, I don't think there's a voice line I listen to with Elphelt that doesn't make me smile or laugh in some way. She's really
It is true.
infectious like that. And I think
Yeah,
it
that's
shows,
another thing I love
like,
about her.
I have a friend that we sat down and watched all the lore together. We played matches all together, and he's very much a casual gamer. The only fighting game he's ever played is Smash, which kills me. And I couldn't get him for years on Guilty Gear. I tried everything. Nothing worked. But when Elphelt dropped, that was what got him in. He was like, I saw her on TikTok that she was flirting with Faust and Nago, and now I have to get in on this because she's so funny. And I guess I have to thank Elphelt from the bottom of my soul for finally getting my friend to play with me because she's funny and hot.
No, I mean, like, Strive Elphelt especially, she was just so infectious that, like, one of my coworkers literally came up to me. They knew that I like Guilty Gears, like, who is she? I like her.
That's so cool. I actually have a coworker that plays Guilty Gear, and he plays May, but he's one of the types that got Guilty Gear when it first dropped, got to Celestial with May, and then just stopped playing forever, and it just kills me because I still haven't hit Celestial myself, and I'm just like, what are you doing? God damn it. Was that earlier with Elphelt?
Her relationships with Nago and Faust.
I was gonna say, like, what is your favorite, like, new
And Sin.
line that she has with people? Like, she has all the, or I guess, like, even End Screen and Xrd, like, she has all the unique proposals with people. What is your favorite proposal she has? I really, really love her, you know, when she's like, oh yeah, we're baddies! What is she, oh
I
yeah,
like the Batman one.
she recently was like, oh yeah, Testament, you're like, you don't have girl power, I don't know what kind of power you have. Like, it's also just the metric with which we're gonna find out, like, more characters are LGBT within the game.
Yeah, she says lovey-dovey-dar, but we know what she meant.
I know what you are.
Borch, what's your favorite one?
Oof. I think Pike was saying it before, the Bedman one, where she's like doing like, oh, you were trying to do all you could to save your sister. I think I know how that feels. I really appreciate that one too.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that both the Valentines actually have a sweet relationship with Bedman. Like,
Yeah.
he's very much hated by everyone in and out of the community, so him to be loved by characters in the story, like, at all is really sweet, and for them to both care for his sister is really sweet as well.
I think there's something to be said with the positive relationship between Bedman and the Valentines, too, of how, like, you know, both of them, like, of course, for Bedman not being, like, fully manipulated by Aerials, but obviously she gets one over on him. But, yeah, no, like, people kind of struggling under the machinations of Aerials and recognizing the importance of, you know, the love of a sibling and being like, oh, you know what, maybe I'll do what I can to help out this weirdo. So I think that that's really cool. But with regards to Elphelt and Nago and Elphelt and Faust, I was just wondering, like, why specifically were they the ones that were paired with her in her arcade mode? And for Nago, I feel like it makes a bit of sense because he's a very kind of reserved person, and you just have the obvious, like, kind of humor of playing off between how fun and playful Elphelt is versus how serious Nago is. But I wonder if to a deeper extent it's also just kind of them trying to put a little bow on Elphelt's arc with regards to love, where it's like, oh, you know, something born out of temptation versus something born out of a genuine desire that's not motivated by anything else. It's just pure and true love. And Nago is someone who's in a unique position to help her understand that, maybe. But I don't know.
I think it says a lot too that Nago is the only one that, like, takes her seriously with the marriage proposal stuff, where he's continuing to chase her down and be like, woman, please, I am not interested, please. I think he deserves that kind of fun and silliness in his life. Like, he's had a life that is so dramatic. This is something that, like, calms him down a bit, even if it's not real, you know?
Yeah, no, they both really, I think, bring something to each other that is appreciable and important, where, like, Nago is treating Elphelt with respect, and obviously Elphelt is bringing some levity to Nago's otherwise deeply serious life. And perhaps the same could be said for Elphelt and Faust, where it's like, Faust is maybe one of the only people who is kind of acknowledging what she is actually saying when she's making the joking proposals, where it's like, well, hold on here, are you doing okay? Which I think is like cute and cool.
I think the reason why they chose Nago and Faust is that it's the two most unlikely people to be around her.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah, I think that might be the other thing too.
So devoted with her, like, romance that, like, she's scaring Faust, the scariest person on the roster. But yeah, Mari, what's your favorite Elphelt interaction in Xrd? Or Xrd?
I was honestly going to say the same for the Bedman quote, because I think that one hits hard. That's a tough one. I liked her interaction with Abba in her story mode.
Let's say hi to my
I was really surprised to see Elphelt there, but it makes a lot of sense because Abba's a character all about love as well, but in a completely different way. And now it's like Elphelt is the complete arbiter and is deciding Abba's fate if she will truly love Paracelsus or not. Except in a completely oblivious kind of way. It's like, oh yeah, my lovey-dovey dar. I thought it was really funny that Abba beats up Elphelt, she's lying flat on the ground and dead, and no one cares, and then as soon as she hears that they might be in love again, she, like, jumps back up and she's like, oh, I heard you guys might be getting married, woo!
She's so silly, I love her.
Remember when, the Arxis media guy was like, oh, it's a sleepy daydream day. Here's Elphelt,
oh yeah, they put
the biggest
Elphelt.
daydreamer we know, and it's like they
Oh my
yeah. But honestly, it is really cute that, like, they do show, like, Elphelt napping all the time, like. I guess outside of that, since we're nearing towards the end of the podcast, and I think we're running out of things to say, I'll ask one last very important question for everyone, and it's that Elphelt's all good, you're in a good spot. What does your ideal date with Elphelt look like?
Oh my god.
Yeah, we should go one by one.
Yeah, one by one.
Go down the line.
I can't play
in the
anymore,
Discord chat.
Pike. I have to think.
If you're gonna start it, I
Yes!
okay. I do. Okay. Alright. So first, you go to a pastry shop. Go on a nice lovely walk on the boardwalk in my neighborhood. Go out by the lake. Be nice and chill, nice and sweet. Walk down to the pastry shop. Buy some nice sweets. Buy some nice treats. Maybe some coffee. Have a great time. You know, maybe watch a movie. Nice cuddle time. You know, I'm a big fan of that. You know, just be romantic, which is, you know, Elphelt's full jam. Treat her up. Have a great night. You know, it's just gonna be sweet. And then end the night.
It's beautiful.
Romantic.
That's very sweet. I was waiting for, like, a ball to drop or something.
Specialty.
It's like, and then we go to a death metal concert and we explode.
We got our horror death metal concert. Thank you.
I like that as a date idea. Let's go to your concert.
I'll be the one to catch you if you jump into the crowd.
I really like that.
See, I would fuck it up if I said Elphelt was concert or something, because I would be like, sure, let's just take whatever ticket, let's go, whoever's playing at the time, and it's gonna be fucking like Weezer or something, and she'd be like, oh, so, like, this is what you listen to? I mean, this is really cool,
As your Weezer enjoying boyfriend, I'm deeply wounded that you would say going to see Weezer wouldn't be a good date.
Alright, I got mine.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think we're both going to go to CVS, Costco, whatever, Walmart, HEB. We're going to get a ton of snacks, a bunch of ice cream, like just a bunch of sweets, candies, all the good things, chips, and then we're going to go back to my house. We're going to put on some movies, maybe some like shitty rom-coms or whatever like we would want to watch at the time. We could put on, yeah, she'd love the Hallmark Channel. We put on Germa or something, and then we eat snacks, we cuddle, and then we take a nap at the end. We just take a nice nap together.
Borch, I love that so much because it's very cute and domestic, but I also love the implication that Germa is equivalent to the Hallmark Channel.
Wait, what was this about Germa? I was like AFK for a bit.
Borch was saying to tie up her date with Elfelt that she would show her the Hallmark Channel or Germa.
That's
They're both for the girls.
Yeah.
Elphelt, it's for the girls.
Mm-hmm.
When you say the girls, can you include Pike? Like the girls and Pike?
The girls and Pike. It's for the girls and Pike.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
For Elfelt, I feel like, we're obligated by law.
Alright, I made a homophobic
This is hype.
I'm putting it in chat.
Oh, yeah. Oh my
I
god.
do own one. How does she know?
Mari, what does your date with Elfelt look like?
Oh
Yeah.
shit, it's my turn. Okay. So, alright, okay. First, I think honestly just staying at home for hold on, I gotta fucking focus on this. Just staying at home for a bit, just watching some shows and stuff, some nice movies. Horror probably, although I can't deal with horror myself. It would be nice that if like Alpha was scared or whatever, I could, hold her and stuff. And then at the end, we could, I don't know, go out and like under the stars and everything, just kind of sit there and just talk to each other and have a nice moment. And then, just pass
That's
out
beautiful.
outside. Yeah, I think that would be nice.
Bork and Pike, what are you doing?
We're just standing.
Sorry, I
We're just chilling.
disrespected love. I didn't realize it was love. I was just confused by why they were so long.
I'm unfamiliar with it.
How do you just become long?
Oh, I've been looking for this emo for like a whole year. I could not fish it out, and I think I was I was on a call with Bork when it happened. When I fished it, I popped up so hard.
Popping up for the long emo.
Yeah.
What?
Yes, finally I'm long.
I mean,
Alright, there is another of the homophobic
this is
dogs.
huge.
Lovey-dovey phobic dog. Pike, what does your date with Elfelt look like?
So, as it might be obvious, I'm like a huge fan of holiday kind of settings and kind of like snowy places. So I think our date. Yeah, who would have thought? Kitty cat. Sorry, my cat just knocked over my controller.
No, it's okay.
Hi, Dizzy.
Easy.
I'll fight you.
So our date would start. We would meet out at the ice rink. Yeah. In like the middle of like a big like shopping town square, and whether Elfelt would be good or bad at ice skating, we would just kind of like take it slow and easy, and kind of learn how to skate together, do some like crude synchronized shit. And then once,
Really?
yeah. And then, I guess for a good amount of the day, we'd go around and kind of look through the shops and just kind of browse what they have, and even like pick out things for each other on occasion.
Mm.
And along the way, we'd stop by for some warm snacks and like a cafe. And it'd be kind of like a nice like cabin cottage setting with a cafe. And once the sun goes down and everything, we'd come back to like we'd recuperate at like a nice warm fireplace and just kind of like cuddle for a while from there. Yeah.
Oh, that's very heartwarmingly sweet, Pike.
I think that is beautiful and domestic. Yeah. I think it speaks to how profoundly this character has impacted so many people that, like, yeah, we could just, like, genuinely think about this and be like, yeah, that's fucking awesome. Oh, also, I just wanted to say, before we end off, really quick, shout out majorly to Cassandra Lee Morris and Aya Suzaki for bringing Elfelt to life, because their performances so insanely good.
This is
Right?
true.
Mm-hmm.
10 out of 10.
And of course, Molly Daisy.
Yeah, I think Cassandra Lee Morris is a really perfect voice actor, and I really like her Japanese voice actor as well. And of course, Molly Daisy. I think altogether, Elphelt just makes a really complete, perfect package. And thank you guys all so much for sharing with me your cute little Elphelt dates. I thought it was very sweet, genuine, and heartwarming. And if everyone in the comments, if you actually listen to all of our cute, cringy shit, tell me what your ideal date with Elphelt would be like. I think that'd be very cute. I hope you all have a really wonderful night. Bye!
Bye!
Goodbye.